spotless lamb for a sinner's soul. So in terms of excellence, you know, it really needs to become one of the core values of our worship team. So each individual person on the team feels a sense of responsibility to become more skillful. Let's say if they're a drummer, that they're practicing with the metronome, even with a guitar player. You know, a lot of times people practice stuff, but I always ask, are you practicing the right stuff? You know, it's cool, you're sitting around, you know, if you're a guitarist and you're like practicing all these, you know, electric guitar riffs and stuff. But the fact is 90% of the time, if you're in a worship band, you're playing rhythm guitar. Even if you're an electric guitar player, you're playing rhythm to good time, hopefully. So you want a good sense of time. So one of my things is that I just constantly preach is like, play the songs you already know, but play them to a metronome or to a drum machine, some sense of time. So anyway, we're gonna address a lot of that, like personal things, like individual things that musicians can do. But corporately, I think it's important that each worship team kind of gets a vision for excellence, gets a vision for saying, man, we want to be good, not in a prideful way, but bringing our best. You know, that all the musicians, it says, were trained and skilled in music for the Lord. I just love that. All the musicians were trained and skilled in music for the Lord. So it's like they spend all this time cultivating their gifts and then they offer it up to the Lord. And so one of the things that I feel like we did early on and we try to continue to do is to cultivate a culture in our worship team and kind of create, cultivate a culture of excellence and get guys and gals playing in the same team for a while. So for example, when we were all in our mid-20s and I was just starting to lead worship in my church, man, we'd show up maybe 2 nights a week we tried to rehearse. And you may go, wow, that's a lot. Well, you know, we wanted to be good. You know, if you want to be a good tennis team, you want to be a good anything, you got to play. You can't just think about it. You have to actually show up and practice, right? And so we tried to create a culture and cultivate our core members, if you will, right? And so we'd get together Tuesday nights and Thursday nights, and we'd practice some of our songs after a time of prayer, maybe scripture reading. Sometimes we would go through books, you know, to kind of deal with some of the spiritual aspects of worship. But then eventually we'd kind of go through the songs for that particular week. We created a culture, and it was the drummer and the bass player, and they learned how to play together and how to get tight and how to just really lock in. And our singers would go off into another room for a period of time, and they would sing together and work out the harmonies. And so we really became a tight-knit family, you know? And I just want to encourage you to do that. I'm not a big fan of like every week the team constantly changing. I think it's healthy for a season of time for the same bass player, same drummer, same guitarist to get used to playing together. And I was going to say, at one point, you know, at some point in the night, the singers would go home, and then us band guys would still hang out, and maybe we would just play like 12-bar blues for like a half an hour, and we'd all take turns jamming. Or maybe we'd go off on some simple worship song and we would just, you know, kind of get lost and just kind of, you know, just sing out melodies. But either way, it was like just the process of jamming and all that just was like super helpful thing. So just wanted to just plant that seed to sort of begin cultivating a culture, cultivate the core, so the strong members of your team, and then just create this culture of like family, relationships, friendships, and let that just grow.